What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Now, in today's video, I want to give you a quick update on what's happening with Bitcoin because we're actually starting to see something that is turning out to be a rather good sign that I think you would want to know about. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. Now, looking at Bitcoin, what we can see is that boy, oh boy, have things been ugly, right? And realistically, there's just no way around that. It's just been ugly. Bitcoin's price currently sitting down roughly 14% from the most recent high that we put in, really starting to venture towards some of these lower levels. But what I will say is that where we are for Bitcoin is actually starting to get into a point in which I do think is a buy zone. I think that we're finally in a point in time in which we're seeing these metrics overextended. We're seeing the market seemingly getting a little oversold, and hopefully we can start to find a floor rather soon to try to continue our way back upwards. Now, what I will tell you guys is I just did a live stream over on my second channel. I'll link my second channel down below. We went over the entire crypto market for 45 minutes, going over the RSI and crypto fear and greed and leverage and liquidations and so much more to get a thesis and idea of where this market's going next. So make sure that you do go check that out down below. It was a long 45-minute long live stream just going over everything, so check that out. But again, my general thesis is that I do think we're going to try to find a floor here for Bitcoin and the rest of the market rather soon, and hopefully put a little bit of at least a pause to this crash in which we have been seeing. Now, what I wanted to focus in on though today specifically is what we are seeing from the RSI for Bitcoin, because again, it's just a good sign. There's no way of knowing when this crash is going to end. There's no way of knowing how much further it's going to go. All we can do is look for signs that help us create a thesis, that help us make moves. That's all we can do. There's no predicting it. Simple as that. Now, what I am noticing though is that our RSI is outrunning our price. Simple as that. And that's what I want to talk about today. The fact that our RSI is outrunning the price, what that means, and what it's meant historically. So an easy way to kind of give a visual representation of our RSI outrunning the price is by noticing and just pointing out the fact that our RSI is quite simply retraced lower already than the price itself has. And the easiest way to represent that is by doing this. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take our Fibonacci retracement levels and we're going to go from the low that we put in all the way to the high that we put in. And as we do that, what you can see is that we are right around a 59% retracement still for the actual price itself. We haven't hit this 61% retracement yet, which is this red box. Now, when we take the same tool and we apply it to the price, okay, so let's go from that bottom that we put in, which is right here. We can even go lower if you like. Let's go to the exact time frame that works. Boom, to here. What you can see is that the RSI is already at the bottom. So we are currently sitting at a 78% retracement. So a 20% higher retracement here on the RSI than the actual price itself. Now you may say, Tyler, why is that important? Well, what it means is that the RSI is going to get more oversold and overextended to the downside faster than the price will, likely meaning that we will see this chart and hopefully the rest of the market, but Bitcoin specifically, find a higher low and maybe even a continuation or an equivalent low into a continuation much faster. And that's a good thing. Historically, let's see what this has looked like. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over some times in which we have seen the RSI recently outrun the price and what it's meant. Okay, so what we can see here is, let's go ahead and I'm going to draw a horizontal line from this low here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, boom, is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to do this. What you can see is that in this example, the RSI outran and passed up this. Let's go ahead and just go equally. We saw the RSI pass up this previous low while the price was way up here. So the RSI itself had surpassed its previous low on the RSI while the price was still much higher than that low. What did that eventually mean? Well, what we can see is that as this started to happen, and as we could see that this RSI was starting to get closer and closer towards the downside, it pointed out to us that some type of floor was going to be made soon. So in this moment, as we started to put in these two final lows, one right here and one right here, and especially when we started to get this bullish divergence, which looks like low, higher, low, low, lower, low, right here, it was a sign that this was very likely going to be a good buying opportunity. And in the grand scheme of things, it was. If you had been buying Bitcoin, let's say on average, in between these two lows, because you might be bought a little bit right here and a little bit more as it got lower, but let's say on the average right here, you would have been up 16% as we put in the high, and you would still be breaking even right now after all of the red in which we've been seeing for the last few days. So just recently, the most recent time that our RSI outran the price to the downside, it opened up an opportunity in which many people saw a lot of gains. We bought right here, and we're still sitting up. beautiful things. And so what that means for us is that, no, I'm not saying that this means that we're immediately going to find, we're not immediately going to just do this. I don't particularly think that to be the case. I definitely think this market could continue to go lower. But what it is telling me is that as we are going low and as we are seeing its price pull to the downside, we're getting a lot of overextensions. We're getting a lot of weakening in the bearish sentiment. And when that typically happens, it's easier for the price to bounce to the upside. And that's the reason why I'm not convinced that we're going to see Bitcoin just absolutely tank, right? I don't think Bitcoin's going to just go straight to $45,000. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if it is going to continue lower, it's going to be a lot of bouncing. It's going to be a lot of the bulls fighting back and slowing down that move. And I think inevitably, sometime towards the end of this year or next year, we are going to see the crypto market and Bitcoin specifically be able to use all of that liquidity to break back towards the upside and continue up towards higher highs. That's my genuine belief. And this pullback that we're seeing is no different than the rest that we had seen based off of the metrics in which we're seeing, in which primary focus here is the RSI. But as I mentioned before, over on my second channel, I broke this down even further, looking at so many metrics. So make sure you do go check that out if you want to. But overall, guys, that's my overall sentiment. And so because of that, as I mentioned before over on the second channel, I am buying right now, not a lot. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably buying at like a 6. I am averaging in as it gets lower, as we're getting 1, 2, 3% days consistently, just buying. And if it continues lower, I'll continue to buy more because it's showing. All signs are showing that we will try to find a bounce. We will try to look for a move back to the upside, and this will eventually turn into a good buying opportunity over the next, couple months, if not even over a longer time frame than that. And so that's all that I want. We're here for the long term. We're not here for the short term, and that's why we've done so well here on the channel. Now, guys, if you do want to do some buying on crypto yourself, especially Bitcoin, I do personally use Margex, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a link down in the description below. Go check it out, because if you do want to use this trading platform, you can get up to $10,000 in bonuses, and the coolest part is you don't need a VPN and you don't need the KYC, meaning you can use it from anywhere in the world as you please, which is a huge advantage for a lot of you users. And so with that in mind, guys, I wanted to let you know about that and just quite simply tell you how I was feeling about Bitcoin and this good sign in which we're seeing. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I know a lot of you have been upset. I know a lot of them have been mad, and I totally get it. It's a tough market to be in right now, but just know there are brighter times ahead, and I can't wait to share them with you. So, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.